Hi, my name is Kellen Vore. Welcome to the video. I'm not sure how long this video is going to run, but I'll try to keep it as short as possible. But it will be worth it if you watch it through the whole entire length of the video. I'm going to be talking about scene nesting and how it can improve your production quality of your live streams and also help you out with a CPU load in OBS Studio. I'm not sure if this is the same in Streamlabs OBS because I don't use Streamlabs OBS. I know I can do this also in XSplit. It's a little bit more detailed in XSplit, and if you want, I can make a video on it. But I'm focusing on OBS Studio because that's what I use and that's what I'm used to. And trust me, it's gonna make your live streams a lot better if you follow these steps and actually put in the work to do this. So let's head right on into it. Also, I forgot to mention, it also can help you do things like this. See how that transitioned? Um, those, the border and my camera are two different layers. Those are nested, and it actually helps me do some things like this. It's helpful. See? Anyways, enough about that. So let's get into how this is going to work. I'm actually going to turn off my camera for this because I want you to be able to see my OBS Studio in a much larger scale. Give me 1 second. Display capture right there. Let's make it a little bit bigger. I think I can. Give me 1 second. I know I'm not great at making videos, but trust me, this will work out for you. So what I'm using here in on the screen is this is how I connect to my stream PC because I'm running a dual PC setup, and this is RAdmin. I don't have two keyboards. I don't have two mice. Um, I'm I literally run through RAdmin to connect to my stream PC. So, anyways, what you're gonna want to do to start nesting scenes is step one. And this is what I would suggest: is go ahead and get every single link that you want to have as a browser source. Get those ready ahead of time. I'm going to be using some of these examples from my Twitch stream. Some of my overlays here from my Twitch stream to give you kind of an idea of what we're going to be working with. And I don't think I'm going to get into fine tuning like sizes of overlays and stuff, but I wanted to give you a basic idea of how nesting scenes will help. Normally, what you would do is you would add all of your scenes, your starting screen, your main scene, your be right back screen, all the scenes, and then in sources you would add all your sources, and that can sometimes lead to browser source corruption. It can also lead to a higher CPU load and lower FPS and strain on your CPU and blah blah blah. You get the idea. But the way I've been doing this and the way I was shown how to do this is actually helped me out a lot. I usually like in the past, my scenes and sources were a lot, like a lot, and my CPU usage would be like 40, 50, 60%, and I would have to run 30 FPS. I would struggle with my streams, and it would just suck. So I'm gonna remove this scene. Oh, there needs to be a scene. So the way we do this is we're going to change this because there has to be one scene. We're going to change this to starting scene. And then we're going to add our main scene. And then we're going to add our BRB scene. And if you want, you can add a just chatting scene, intermission. For those of you who like to play Tarkov and like to have a raid screen, that can also work right there. And then you're going to have your ending scene. Now, once we're here, normally you would just throw all your sources, images, your webcam and all that stuff into here, right? So what we're going to do now is we're going to create another scene, and we're going to call this source. And I like to add a space and a hyphen, and then we're going to go browser, because that identifies what we're going to be putting in here. And then we're going to add another hyphen, another space, and then starting overlay. And then we're going to create another one, and we're going to call it composite. Hyphen space browser, because we're going to be referencing this right here. Actually, no, we're a composite source browser starting overlay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and click on this to activate that scene. We're going to, let's copy, which one was it? This one? Yes, we're going to get that link. And we're going to go into sources, and we're going to add a browser source, and we're going to call that browser source starting overlay. And what that means is it's a browser source. It's the source of that scene, and then the starting overlay. We're going to click add. We're going to go like this, and oh, I have to click that. You don't have to click this. I have to click that. Copy that. We're going to go 1920 by 1080. I like to use a custom frame rate of 60. You don't have to. And then we're going to shut down and refresh the scene when it becomes active, and we're going to click OK. I have to resize this. You probably don't, because I'm running a different resolution. And then we're going to click on this scene, and we're going to add the existing browser source, resize it. And then from here, you go back to your starting scene, and you're going to click the plus sign. You're going to click scene, and you're going to click add existing, and then we're going to click on the composite. And we're going to add it right there. Okay. You need to do this for every browser source, every image, every camera, every game capture, everything that you're going to add to your scenes. You need to follow those steps. So we're going to go to our main scene now, and we are going to, let's add, let's add an image. So we're going to go source, image, background. We're going to add background scene. And you can do this to any of your, or you can do this for anything. Like if you want to add a background image, and then your camera, and then your overlay, and all this other stuff. We're gonna get into that. So this might get a little bit long-winded, but I promise you it'll be worth it. And keep in mind where our CPU load is gonna stay pretty low. So in the background image, we're gonna click this. We're gonna click image. We're gonna go back to home or the beginning, and we're gonna go source, image, background. The name is already in use. Background image. Here we go. And then we're going to make sure we unload image when not showing. We're going to click browse. We're going to, I don't know what I have on here. So I think I have it in my streaming assets. Blah, blah, blah. I don't know. Is it line graphics? In pictures? We'll use this. Yeah, sure. Sure, why not? I don't have everything on my stream PC that I have on my game PC, and that's where you do most of my work. So now what we've done here is add our image, and then we're going to create a composite in our scenes. And we're going to go source, image, background. And then we're going to click image, add existing, source image, resize it to however you like, fit to screen. And our main scene, and another thing that I like to do is I like to make sure I keep my sources. If you want to go alphabetically, you can. It kind of helps out a little bit. But I keep my sources underneath all my main scenes, and then my composites at the bottom. So now that we've created our source, we have our background. We can go to our main scene. We can click scene, add existing, uh, composite, image. So then what we'll do here is we will add another scene. And again, this is going to get super repetitive. You're going to be spending a lot of time doing this, but again, it's going to be worth it in the end. So let's add a camera. Let's do source, camera. And we're going to be adding a video capture device. I like to name this camera. No. Let's see. I'm using an older camera for this purpose. And then you don't have to do anything here. You can move it around the screen however you want, but it's not going to matter in this scene. So then we want to create a composite source camera. And what we're going to be doing here is this is going to lead up to how, remember how in the beginning where I made my camera and the overlay move all at once? This is why you nest scenes as well. So we're going to add another source video capture device, add the existing camera. We've got this. Any adjustments that you're going to do to your camera, you're going to want to do in your composite scene. So we'll move that up there. We've got the camera. You can add your chroma key. You don't want to add your chroma key to the source because there's a couple different reasons why you wouldn't want to do that. One, if you add it to the source, it's going to affect all of your composite scenes. And what I mean is, let's say you have a green screen for one scene, but on another scene you don't. If you add a chroma key to your source, it's going to chroma key your green screen scene, and it's also going to chroma key and be difficult for your scene that doesn't have chroma key. So anything that you want to add to your composite, and then you can add your composite to two different scenes, like your main scene and your intermission scene, and one can be chroma keyed and one doesn't have to be chroma keyed, if that makes sense. So once we're done here, we can go to our main scene. We can go, oh wait, we're going to go to our sources. We're going to add a scene, add existing. We're going to go to our composite and grab this and see how we're in the center here. How to fix that. You go to your composite. We can go in studio mode. Actually, it's better if I do it this way. Go to our main scene, go to studio mode, go down to our composite. See, this is our composite scene now, and this is our main scene. And we can do this. We can adjust it a little bit if you want. And then inside this composite scene is our next step. And this is another important step for nesting. And I think you'll get a better idea once we do this. So let's go out of studio mode. We're going to add another scene. We're going to call it source. And we're going to go browser. And we're going to go cam border. Bloop. And then, let's see, I got my cam border overlay right here. And you can do your adjustments inside this as much as you want. And then we're going to add a browser source in OBS. And we're going to go browser. Let's actually put source in front of it. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Browser. Cam border. So we've got our source, our browser overlay, which is the cam border. Rip. Cam border. I should have added it here. My bad. Browser. Oh, I was. Browser. Cam border overlay. Here we go. Bloop. 1920 by 1080. Custom. Again, you don't have to do this. I personally like to. And again, inside each one of your sources, you want to make sure in the source, in all of these sources, every single browser source that you add, set it to shut down and refresh. You don't have to inside the composites if you don't want to. Let's resize this to fit the screen. And now we'll make a composite. Browser. Cam border. I like to name these as close as I can to the sources. It'll make sense in the end. We're going to add the browser existing. Transform. Now we go back to our main scene. We're going to add our scene. Our camera border. It's going to put it over here. And how you can get this to resize to your camera, if you want to, like you don't technically have to do it this way. Let's go to our composite scene with our camera. Try to line it up the best that we can here. What I do is go in here. Almost there. It's kind of hard to see, but we're pretty much there, right? So now we've got this done. We've got our border done. We can go back to our we're looking at our main scene. We can go back to our composite camera. And we can add our border there, right? So we've got our source, we've got our composite. In our camera, we add the scene for the browser, right? So if we go out of studio mode, inside this, you can actually crop the edges of this scene. Actually, no, you don't want to do that one. My bad. And I apologize. I'm not good at making videos here. So we can actually remove this scene if we want to and still retain our border. So we can go to our camera, crop the camera scene, which includes inside that scene, it includes the border as well. We can crop this if you want, and you can move it anywhere you want on the screen, and it moves both of them. Or you can go to your composite source camera, which includes the both, and do the same thing here if you really want to. And this is actually how I do it for getting my camera to transition the way it did in the beginning of the video. Maybe we can... Oh, I lied. It's not. I did it the other way around. My bad. So let's get this back to where we want it. We're good. Main scene. Yeah, there we go. We can crop that however you like. And again, see the CPU load has gone up a little bit, but not bad. So now you want to add your game scene, right, into your main scene. So what we'll do is we'll create a source browser, main scene overlay, and you can name these however you want. This is just what I'm doing. I will move this back up to the top. You can actually alphabetize those if you like to. We're gonna come over here. No, we're gonna come over here and we're gonna grab this overlay, which already, like, this is just an example, by the way. This is my scene for Twitch. It already includes the overlay, so don't worry about that. I'm just using this as an example. We'll click that. We're gonna add a browser source, browser source, main overlay. 1920 by 1080. 16 shut down, blah, blah, blah. We're going to resize it. Screen. Composite. Browser. Source. Main overlay. Click the add existing. We've got our main overlay. Size it. And now we go back to our main scene. And we just add the scene for that, right? Main overlay. It's going to pop up. So what we're essentially doing is we're adding all of our sources, right? We're adding all of our sources. We're doubling the sources and then adding the composites to our main source. So it's basically compiling all of our it's a way to compress all of your sources into one scene and taking that one scene and adding it to your the scenes that you're going to be using the most, right? So again, if you were to add, let's say on your main scene, your camera, your border for your camera, your stream elements overlay, your alerts, which I like to keep my alerts on a separate URL. And then you want to have, like on Twitch, if you have your Firewire sound alert overlay, and then you've got your channel points overlay for some other things, and then you've got your uh, I don't know, what other browsers, Treat Stream, or like for me, I have a URL for pretty much everything. I've got an advanced GG tracker for when I make a sale on advanced GG. I've got a URL for uh, I've got a URL for my clock. I've got a URL for my now playing with Nerd or Die. Or, if you were to add all of those overlays to just your main scene, that's a lot of CPU usage for one scene, right? So what we do is we add all those URLs, compress them into a composite, move that composite into our scene, into our main scene, and it doesn't have to keep all those things active in your main scene, right? That's why we shut down, and uh, that's why we use the what is it? That's why we shut down and refresh every time in our sources. Because if we do it in our sources, you don't have to do it in your composite. You don't have to do it here, and it saves on CPU usage. Plus, like I mentioned in the beginning, you can add more production value to your streams. And what I meant by that is for doing things with your camera, uh, doing stuff like moving your camera and your border around or changing scenes. You can nest all of your scenes for your overlays. And what I actually do on what I'm trying to do and what I will be doing is having my overlays. I use a plugin in OBS called Motion, and that's how I get my camera to move side to side. I think I can actually show you right now. Uh, and here, if we turn off our display capture, if you notice, I've got my clock URL over there, and then above me, every once in a while, you'll see my socials rotating. I've set this up with scene nesting, and I can do this with like my Be Right Back screen. I actually have it set up uh, as a starting scene like this. So this is on my main scene. This is not a starting scene. And if I press this button, motion moves that away on my main scene, right? And you can do this with your break screen. You can do it with your uh, just chatting scene, your intermission scene, your ending scene, and that's all done in nesting. Without nesting, you won't be able to do things like this and move it back and forth. I mean, technically you could, but it would be extra work. If you use nesting, it's a lot less work in the end. So I've got an overlay from my clock, my border, my socials, and my camera, and my image behind me, right? They're all nested, and I can do different things. So stuff like that. I can get more into this if you would like to. You can reach out to me on Discord, or you can join my Gilded server. I actually have a help desk for streamers in my Gilded server. You can also pop by my stream if you want. I stream on Glimesh now. I stream on Facebook. I stream on Twitch. You can stop by anytime. Same name on any of those on Facebook, Twitch, or Glimesh. It's Kellenbor. And I don't mind stopping what I'm doing midstream and helping someone else. So if you're running into a problem with nesting scenes, which is pretty darn simple. Let's go over it one last time. I think it'll be worth it for you. Uh, Create all of your scenes, your starting, main, bareback, blah blah blah. Add all of your sources of your camera, your all your browser sources, images, GIFs if you're Canadian, um, all of those things. Add all your sources. Make sure you name them as source so you can identify whether it's a source or a composite. Then re-add those as composites and add those composites back to your main scenes. And then from there, your only limit is your imagination. Doing stuff. Turn that off. Doing stuff with your cameras and your overlays. Why are you not moving? Oh, whatever. Nesting scenes is going to help a lot. A lot. Trust me. So again, if you have questions, feel free to tag me on Discord, DM me, whatever. I hope this video was useful to you, and I hope it makes sense. I know I said it was going to be a little bit long-winded, and I hope that it helps you out. And I hope that it does help you with your CPU load in OBS. You can try this in OBS or slobs. I'm not sure if it works the same way. I don't use slobs, like I said. But yeah, there you go. It's nesting 101, basically. So, anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please stop by and say hello if you've seen the video. I'm going to be streaming on Glimesh quite a bit. So, if you want instant reactions and instant chat, you can head on over there. Anyways, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time on the next video. Peace.